Who knows?
Maybe he just wants to be a pancake. Just set out in life. I want to be a pancake. Well, there's a whole six people. Well, 5 people. 6 people.
That's more than I thought that would actually turn up, so I'm not complaining.
I thought it was gonna be me sometimes. Oh, okay. Just like, hey, give me a message. Oh, wait, we've got 7 now.
Alright, we'll start at 20 past, so 3 minutes.
What the hell's on your head?
Oh, yeah, let's just get rid of that.
You know, you should do a little, like, a terraforming competition on here. Whoever does best starts to get, like, glacial kids and the, you know.
I wanted to do that, and I was thinking of just hosting it after we're done here, just on the creative server, but the creative server is down at the moment.
Or you could just, pretend I have one and just give you cookies, you know? Just, do a slash trade and, no one needs to know.
Yeah, don't tell Wolfie.
No, shh.
Shh.
Nothing happened. Shut up, Nick. Sorry about.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh, we've got a whole 1 minute to wait. Wait, actually, no, we've got. Yep, we've got a whole minute from now.
Yep, we'll start in a minute.
Right, we've got 40 seconds left. Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
If at any point you get bored, you feel free to leave. I understand.
Right, okay, see you guys.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, try to walk now. And it's like all around me, all through. Oh,
Yeah, well, I've already
10,
given him a private
9,
lesson on
8,
terraforming.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow.
Boom!
Thank you for that beautiful countdown. So,
I know. That's definitely worth the glacial. Sorry, shit, I got bits of stress.
Yeah.
alright. So, we'll just start. If you have any questions during this, feel free to ask either in chat or just over voice. I don't mind.
Can you give me 4 stops up and what are they?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Let me give you that. Alright, so I'm BD or Shannooty, as some of you might know me of, and I build professionally with mostly Dom. I build professionally, and I've been building for just over 2 years now. At the end of 2014 I started, and I've really been getting into terraforming lately. That's what I want to show you, how I go about terraforming. So the process of terraforming is you want to get a shape first and then color it to the
Yo, where the hell are you?
I'm not really going around too much, but you can just feel free to go all around all the different samples of terraforming I have.
I've already done that, but I'm waiting for half.
Yeah, well, these are either samples from builds that I'm working on at the moment, or just tests.
So much diamond.
Yes, there is a lot of diamond. I'll get to that. So the process that I go through is I create a base shape that would be the diamonds. and behind the big waterfall one, and then I'd colour it, and depending on the colouring I choose, I would then go to shape it some more. By also doing terrain, we can develop structure from that by using the information that the terrain gives us, like the flow of the terrain and how we should base our structures around it.
So how long did this thing take you to build?
Which one?
Your big, those block rainbow multicolored thing.
The waterfall?
Yeah, your waterfall.
This took about half an hour to an hour.
I see some bedrock here, which is beast. Oh, sorry.
Hey, it's all colours, it's all colours.
Well.
Yeah, I'll TP everyone to this waterfall. Because this was actually my first attempt at trying this type of terraforming. I think it turned out alright.
I actually really like the waterfall.
Thanks. If you head from spawn, it's straight out of spawn.
I mean, I like around it, but I don't. It's like so much going on. It's kind of like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But I'll get into that as well.
I like greens and like obviously natural stuff, but I mean, I think it actually helps to the waterfall. It kind of blends all the colours, because blues, pinks, and everything.
Yeah. So, for terrain, I see there's a lot of people who either start with the terrain first and then build structures around the terrain, which is what I think people should be doing, but other people also build structures first and try build terrain around that, which doesn't make too much sense to me. So how I see it is that we build a terrain and then you build the structures to the flow of the terrain, and that's why making terrain properly is very important. I'm sure Dom could agree with that. Pardon?
Stop showing it.
We have the skill to build this. We like it, like huge owners.
Alright, so I'm gonna TP everyone to the small snow sample that Wolfie and I built last night. So what we can get from this, if we're planning our build around this piece of terrain, is that it's quite a snowy piece of terrain. Like, the snow's melting away. But if we were going to plan structure around this terrain, we would have to think of the problems that might occur in real life. So if it's a snowy piece of terrain, we want to take, when we build our structures, we want to take into account the environmental effects that the building could be under, like avalanches, heavy snow, blizzards, and all that kind of stuff. We also have to think about the sort of materials that will be around a snowy environment. So like pine trees. So you also got to, when you're building terrain, you got to think about the flow of it. I'll get into the actual building of the terrain a bit later, but we need to talk about how terrain is set out. So when you look at this piece of terrain, the snow sample, we have like a flow along this blue line. Along this line of flow, this is where we want to put pathways and structures. Because that would make, if you're exploring this, it's going to make more sense to go up these flow paths, if that makes any sense at all. So make sure you definitely know where the flow paths are when building terrain, and then building structures from that. If you've got any questions, just go ahead and ask. I'll try to give a good answer.
Can you repeat the whole process?
The whole process. Well, I'll get back into the process later, but we're just going to be talking about... We're just talking about how the terrain works to sculpt structures at the moment. So, by following this flow line that I've marked out in light blue clay, this is where you want to place pathways and how people would move around the terrain. This is very important for if you're creating a piece of terrain that is going to be used for player exploration, because you'd rather have a nice easy path up to your buildings. So next we'll just talk about texture. Now if you're in creative mode, which I build predominantly in, the way we color things is we use reference images, and there are some on the ground, just flat images. You might have seen them already. One looks like a photo of pebbles. Just TP everyone. These are used to create the color of the terrain, and I'll go into how we do that a bit later. But by basing our terrain off these images, we can provide a more realistic feel to a build. These textures, these three textures, were used in the waterfall terrain and this island here with the boat, if you've seen that already. So how I go about doing terrain is I create a base shape first out of a single color. This is for creative mode, obviously. If you're doing this in survival, it's pretty much the same, but you might want to start with some colors at first. So we'd first create a base like this out of one color. I use diamonds because it's very easy to see. And you just want to get a general shape for the terrain before doing any bit of colouring or worrying about any block palettes, because that's what a lot of builders do, is they worry about block palettes all the time. So once you have a rough terrain piece like this, I could have done much better and smoothed it out a little bit. Then we want to start colouring. So we'll just head over to... I'll just give a demonstration to how this all works. But do we have any ideas for terrain I could quickly build? Any concepts?
Build terrain.
Build terrain. Alright. So I'll just TP everyone.
Anything that comes to mind.
Why the fuck is little bitch waiting for an hour?
What'd you say?
This ugly bitch. Oh, why the fuck is it me? I don't can hear. Well, for what? Fucking return people.
Apparently you said nignog.
So what? He said the nigger, some shit. He said nigger. Something like
I know.
fucking 13-year-olds.
Okay, so for builds like terrain, I would normally get some reference images before I start building, and I'll just put one in the event chat, which I've just found. So we're going to be trying to create something along the lines of that. hills with rocky cliffs. Ignore the structures for now.
Have all this stuff.
So to create our base shape, we're going to use a brush, a world edit brush. And I'll just put the command into chat. So there's our command that we're going to put to a stick. Pretty much it just places a giant cylinder. So I'm going to just quickly
I like cylinders, cylinders are cool. Random food.
So we're just going to create a rough shape with these cylinders. This is how I would do it in creative mode.
Oh, you're making that green hill thing?
Yep, I put it in the events chat. For survival, it might be a much different process, as you won't be able to place. You won't have world edit for obvious reasons. But this is strictly creative. So I'm just going to try create one of those hills as best as I can, quickly. Alright, I'll just keep it at that for now, just keep it nice and quick. So if I'm just going to be using voxel sniper now. If you do not know what voxel sniper is, please let me know and I'll try to explain it. But I'm going to be using the fill brush. I'll put that in chat. By using arrows and gunpowder to fill the gaps between the cylinders. And I recommend using a hacked client to use fast place for this. This is just to blend the cylinders together.
Oh, whoa.
You missed a bit.
Yeah, I'm just quickly going over it.
I'm only joking. That's pretty cool.
So I'll just TP.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
So this fill command is not, I won't be using it to smooth out the terrain at all. It's just to fill in the gaps and create a base shape for the build.
tip of your hair. Yeah, you can use /fly, by the way.
Oh, is there an event? Okay.
Sort of an event.
Kind of less than, I guess. Terraforming lesson.
Alright, so just from a little bit of using this voxel sniper brush, we can get rid of some of the gaps between the cylinders and slowly work our way to get rid of the cylinder shapes. Alright, so we're gonna use, well, I'm gonna use another voxel sniper brush to just smooth it out a little bit more, the lift brush. This just does exactly what it says, it lifts up the terrain.
Oh my god. Yep.
I just died.
What?
I have an old vote key. Before the reset of the vote keys, can you change it for me, please?
Yeah.
And start it.
What do we have?
Alright, I'm just gonna keep this real rough to save a bit of time.
Not more. Oh wow. Oh.
Thank you.
Hey Ben, if you give me
Yep, I'll just TP everyone again.
That's cool for now, and it's 1 a.m. So,
a whole 4 people.
A whole 4 people.
Your favourite.
I know.
yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep it like that for now. And now we're gonna start giving it a bit of color. So if you fly over to the images, we're gonna, yep. So I'm just gonna select the green dirty one.
Green tattoo. This is what he's talking about.
So we're gonna apply this photo to the terrain. So what we do is we first copy this. We just fly back over to the terrain.
You should start setting this shit with this indication that you have. And now this thing should work something like this.
I'm just gonna, since this is more of a cliff sort of build, I'm gonna put the image on its side.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be good enough. And to rotate something onto its side, you use that command.
No. Trying to build the wall. That was bad joke.
So once we have this copied again, but on its side, we can then put the photo onto the terrain. And this is just a very quick way to color something in and give it a bit of shape.
What database was on the server?
So then once we have our texture copied, we can go ahead and select the entire piece of terrain. Once we do that, we can then use this magic command to, oops, not that one, ignore that one. You want that one? That will quickly color in the entire terrain with the photo that we have. So if I do that, you can
Magic.
you see that we have a bit of color in there now.
You simply replace it
Yeah, we simply replace it.
with a percentage of wood, percentage of clay.
I don't use percentages. I don't really like the random look of it. But I just use that command I put in chat, the replace 57 hashtag copy. And to make the terrain a bit more unique, I'm gonna just quickly copy the pebble texture. Now if we copy the pebble texture and rotate it,
Nice.
no. So I'm just gonna grab this stone texture. It's on the ground.
Pebbles. Oh,
So
bad pebbles.
what we can do to make this look more cliffy is we can select it all again, but with our pebbles copied. Once we select it all, then we can replace certain blocks within the build to have the pebble look. So I'm going to choose wood and dirt. If I'll just give you the command net soon.
Oh, I think I know what you're doing.
If I use that command there, it will replace the wood and the dirt with the pebbles.
Ooh.
So that's how we can create a rocky cliff type look to a build really quickly. And that's pretty much the techniques I use to create all the other pieces of terrain around this world. Now there's this guy, Udidvio, I think that's how you pronounce it. He created a very nice texture pack, you could call it, with all these different amazing textures that you can use. And I'll just get the download link for that. Put that in chat. So there's the texture pack with all the different types of photos that you can use in game. And if I can actually show everyone different type of textures that comes with the pack. So they're really big textures and very, very nice to use on terrain. You can just fly around and have a quick look. This is all for free. There's also another way to import your own photos into the game to use for the terrain, but you can also use pictures of textures like these, not in just the terrain, but you can use them in structure as well, for floors especially, and walls. It's very, very nice to be able to texture with different blocks as well. So I'll just TP everyone back. No, you do not. You don't put the texture pack in the resource folder. If you download that file, and open it, there'll be a .schematic folder, and I'll just give a quick tutorial on how to import a schematic folder into a server. I'll just get the link, and I'll put it in chat. If you use that link, there should be a little upload button there, and then you can choose your file and upload the .schematic folder, and then you can import those photos that were over there in game. Very useful, and it's all free. It's even better.
Even better.
To also import your own images in, either from the internet or things that you've taken, there's a program for that called Spritecraft. It's also free. There's a lot of amazing programs that are for free, and there's the link for that. So by using images, we can quickly create a palette for our terrain, and then we can base our structure around that terrain. So what's next? Right, so we'll just quickly go over survival building. Let's fly over to it. So back at this sample with the snowy thing, both Wolfie and I built this last night by hand, and then I just flipped it over. But when you're creating hand terrain, you want to create nice curvy shapes, but you also want to keep it quite random and rough instead of smooth, because in nature not everything's perfectly smooth and it's always a bit rough, and to me a terrain that has a bit of roughness to it looks more realistic than perfectly smooth terrain. So if you're building in survival, you'd want to start out with a base color for the type of terrain that you're building. So if it's a snow one like this one, I would probably build it out of snow or white blocks, and then go around and mark out where there'd be rocks and build on that. That's just how I would do that, and that's how you'd build it on the skyblock, for example. That's how I would. And then you could go and base your structure around that. For the creative building as well, you can also set the textures to a brush by using this command, if I get it. if you use that command with a stick or whatever you choose to be your brush item, if you use that with this command, if you use it with that command, you'll be able to paint essentially paint your textures onto the terrain. And the slash mask block, the block is the block you'll be replacing. So for me, I'd be using diamond, so I'd put diamond where the block is. Also, when making terrain, when you add the organics part of it, like trees for example, you want to keep the trees in scale with your terrain. So if you want the terrain to look massively big, you want to build smaller trees, because from a distance having smaller trees will amplify how big the terrain is. But if you want it to make it look really small, you'd want to have bigger trees and plants, just to set the scale of the build. It will take practice to get good at terrain building, but the more you try, obviously the better you'll get. And that's pretty much all I have to talk about. If there's any questions, just ask them now or private message me. And I'm sure Dom has judged me a lot.
I had a question I thought it was.
Oh, that sucks. Is there any other questions?
Oh, okay. So like, said how you put like trees around the area?
Yep.
How would you like get a certain size?
What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, okay, so let's say this was like a forest kind of terrain.
Where are
With
you?
trees. How would you?
I'll just TP to you. Ah, so on here, if we want, it depends on
Okay.
scale. So if we wanted to make this piece of snow look much bigger than it actually is, well, I might want to turn off my fast place. So if we wanted to,
Hacks.
yes, hacks. If we wanted to make it look much bigger, we'll build small trees. That's a terrible tree, but
Oh my god.
you get what I mean. But if we wanted to make the terrain look much smaller, we'd build much bigger trees. So that makes a bit of sense.
Okay. This is nice tree.
Great trees.
Thank you, thank you.
Very good.
I'm sure you know hacks on any server over here, especially a staff member. Oh my god.
Yeah, well,
I might just do my recording quickly.
I'm recording this all, so try report me.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I won't record it. Because, like, yeah. Things.
Yeah, so
Yeah, catch the title.
how hacks work.
It's funny the other day because like some stuff like took 400 mil off me because it's due money. Someone bought my stuff in AH, and literally I was gonna make a video saying like staff member caught abusing stole 400 mil off me. I was like, such a great title.
Yeah, so when I use hacks, I do not play any other games. Like,
Oh,
I wouldn't be playing Skywars or anything else with hacks, because I just don't find them enjoyable. But with with hacks it's not fun, and everyone hates hackers. But hacks in building is very useful for placing blocks really fast. And it might seem sketchy at first, or you might not want to do it, but once you start using it, you'll see the benefits of it.
Ban on the spoon.
Yep, you can ban me.
just waiting for 1 second.
Is there any other questions about terrain? You can, if you don't have a microphone or don't want to talk, you can just ask it in chat.
Hey, we're not really talking, just say it in chat. That's what he just said, but we don't like rephrase it. Oh, it is.
Oh. Is that pyro?
Oh.
Yeah, I can look at the island on Skyblock once we're done.
Oh, no. What? What the heck?
Why is
Everyone's joining
everyone's
this
coming now?
when it's all with bugs, that's all you want to say. Noise.
So I assume there's no more questions?
Not trying.
Alright. Well, thanks for coming along, and hopefully this taught you something. I hope.